So today we'll start a new topic on hydrology and the most common topic that we are nowadays each and every person is talking about river interlinkage, because you're seeing that our country is experienced recent various kinds of disaster, whether that is flood, whether that is waterlogging. So those all the terms, all the definitions that comes to your mind, the problem, the that solution is river interlinkage. What the normally the people thinks that if you have got a drought, if you have got a flood, you redirect the water, and then you can conserve the water, and then this kinds of disasters will reduce. Now we'll see whether that is possible, or what is the myth, what is the pros, what are the challenges, what can be the solution, and why it's important. So we'll start up river linking. So what is river linking? Is a project of linking two or more rivers. So what we are doing, that honorable Prime Minister of India, late Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, gave the concept of river interlinkage. So what does river linking means and why it's important? So river linking is a project of linking two or more rivers by creating a network of manually created canals. So what he's saying कि you manually connect the canals and providing water to the land areas that does not have rainwater access, and reducing the flow of water to the sea using this means. So what does it means? It means that what we are doing, we are trying to reconnect the water, means the excessive water that we receive during monsoon period must be redirected to those areas where you're facing water deficiency during monsoon periods, like Rajasthan, many parts of Maharashtra, many parts of Madhya Pradesh, and the other parts of India too. There is a scarcity of water. So the river interlinkage concepts comes with the linking of those rivers, so that we can reduce the flow of water to the sea, and those water, the surplus water, can be used for various kinds of drinking purposes, irrigation purposes, and domestic purposes. So it is based on the assumption that surplus water in some rivers can be diverted to deficit rivers by creating a network of canals to the interconnect the rivers. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to redivert the excessive water to the areas, or to the rivers that they are dried up during the monsoon period. So those excessive water can be utilized for the various purposes. So what is the reason and motivation of interlinking? First, we'll go for the regional rainfall variation, because if the entire regions of India would have received the same amount of rainfall, there was no concept of river interlinkage, because then there will be a uniformity in the area. But because there is no uniformity in the rainfall, some of the areas receive very heavy rainfalls during the monsoon period, means that is a precipitation, and some area is deficit. So the rainfall over the country is primarily orographic, associated with tropical depression originating in the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. So maximum rainfall we are getting because of that, and the summer monsoon accounts for more than 85% of the precipitation. So out of 100% that rainfall that we receive throughout the year, 85% of the rainfall is concentrated in the monsoon period, that is from July to September. So what you have to do now, you have to conserve this 4 month of rain what you're getting on your land for your next coming 8 months, so that you don't have the water scarcity in that area. However, the large parts of Haryana, Maharashtra, Andhra, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu are not only in deficit in rainfall, but also subject to large variations. So you can see that the majority, the most populated states of India, and the you can see the developed states of India, I'll say randomly, the more you'll see they are having a good number of population, and they are the big cities and the big states we are talking about, like Maharashtra, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, are not only deficit in rainfall but also subject to large variation, resulting in frequent drought and causing immense hardship to the population and enormous loss to the nation. So, what we are trying to do, if you are not conserving the land, if you are not diverting the water from the areas which have excessive in nature, these areas will have frequent drought, because here the rainfall is less than what it is expected to gain during the monsoon period. And that's why, because this states what we are talking about are very large in number, the geographical area is very large, so as the population is also large. So if we are not preparing or not providing the adequate amount of water, so the population over that region will face a severe problem. Then the water availability, even for drinking purposes, become critical, particularly in the summer monsoon, as the rivers dry up and the groundwater recedes. So, because you are not getting enough rainfall during the monsoon period, so what will happen? It will directly have an impact on your river system. It will have directly impact on your underground water system, because the water, like in a bucket, if you are filling a water, it overflows. But if it is half filled and you are going on extracting it without recharging it, one day it will extend, it will go off. So that is why we are facing a huge water scarcity before monsoon in major parts of the country, because of this erratic rainfalls that is being done in different parts of the country. Now, regional variations in the rainfall leads to situation where some parts of the country do not have enough water even for raising a single crop. So, because of this erratic nature of the rainfall that you are seeing, that we are receiving during the monsoon period, the major part of the country doesn't have that water to even grow for a single crop. So, on the other hand, excess rainfall occurring in some part of the country creates havoc during floods. So, because now we are taking a class in between, we are towards the onset of monsoon. So, you'll see that every now and day the you'll see various kinds of flood situations being photographed, being shown in the newspapers, news channels of Bihar, West Bengal, Assam, and then you have got Uttar Pradesh. So these are those parts of the country where the flood is recurrent in nature. Means each and every year you receive a large amount of water, but that amount of water is beyond the carrying capacity of the river. And there are other factors that leads to a flood in any region that we have already completed in our classes, earlier classes, like geology, topography, slope, elevation aspect, rainfall, geomorphology. So all the factors is important for mapping of this excessive water. So what is happening? One part of the country, it is receiving a very large amount of rainfall, whereas the other southern part of the country is in drought-like condition. So what the concept says? The concept says ki divert this water, what we are receiving in a large amount in West Bengal or Assam or Bihar or UP, to those areas, to like Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, so that this excessive water, what we are getting during the monsoon period, can be utilized in a proper way instead of going waste and meeting into the sea. So what is the futuristic demand? Why the concept is not about reducing the number of disaster in India, but also the irrigation using river water and the groundwater has been the prime factor for raising the food grain production in our country from mere 50 million tons in 1950 to more than 200 million tons at present, leading to attain self-sufficiency in the food. So what we have attained, what we have achieved? We have achieved that we are in a position to handle the entire population of India, and we are self-sufficient in majority of the food productions in India. We are producing a large amount of food grains. That's why even during the pandemic, the entire thing was locked down, but we didn't face any scarcity related to the flood grains or the food grains or vegetables because of our irrigation system. And the irrigation system is basically based on water. And how does this water comes? This water comes from your river water. This water comes from your underground water. So if you are not managing well your river water, the river channels and the underground water table, you can face scarcity of food grains in coming years because of the increase in population. So irrigated area has increased from 12 million hectares to 95 million hectares during the period. So you can see that post independence, the number of land, the number of food grain were very limited in number. Thereafter, you have got various revolutions that came in India, that is green revolution, white revolutions, and many more revolutions did came pertaining to the increase in the productivity of either cattle, fisheries, vegetables, cropping, agriculture. So that has led to attain a position where India is self-sufficient to produce the amount that is required to serve its population, but still that is insufficient in terms because our population is increasing, but because of the climatic change, the water condition, the rainfall condition has changed. Now if we are not managing well this condition, this water resource what we are talking about, you can face a problem in near future. So at present, we estimate that ultimate irrigation potential of the country is being stated as 113 million hectares. So why it's important? We have been always saying because our population has increased and we are going carrying forward. We are not going backward. So obviously, when we are going carrying forward, when our population is increasing day by day, the demand of water will increase by day. The increase of food grains will increase day by day. The increase of vegetables, the increase of milk products, all is going to increase. So the population in India, which is around 1000 million at present, is expected to increase to 1500 to 1800 million in the year to 2050. So you can see that we have got a large number of population, and that requires around 450 million tons of food grains. Means what we are producing right now, at least 2x we have to produce more in order to sustain the entire population. But how is it possible? And that can be possible only if the drought prone areas land is reduced, the desertification is increased, we are making the unproductive land into productive category. So all such constructive and scientific methods of farming practices related to irrigation, related to water conservation is required and is the need of the hour because of the increase in the population. And for meeting this requirement, it will be necessary to increase the irrigation potential to 160 million hectares for all crops by 2050. But right now, what we are facing is 110 million hectares. So we have to increase our irrigated area of land so as to sustain or so as to feed the increased number of populations, and that can be possible only if this water is redirected and the areas which are frequently affected by drought, because when there is a drought, when there is a desertification, a large area of land is uncultivated, is unutilized, it's a wasteland. So if you are interlinking it, maybe the area which is facing such kind of difficulty, such kind of water related problem, because water, any without water no plants can grow, especially the plants that require sufficient amount of rainfall. So not only that, it's important, but it's also important if you are doing the river interlinkage. It controls floods and drought. So floods are recurrent features. I've already stated, and you're reading now and again every year during monsoon periods, particularly in Brahmaputra and Ganges, in which 60% of the river flows in our country. 60% of the river flows. So flood damages, which were 52 crores in 1953, have gone to 5,846 crores in 1998, with an average annual rupees being spent is 1,343 crores, affecting the states of Assam, Bihar, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, along with the untold human suffering. So I have already stated numerous times how this disaster, especially flood, is creating havoc in the plain areas of Assam, Bihar, drought, then Uttar Pradesh. The same area is being affected by flood during monsoon period, and the same area is being affected by drought during the non-monsoon period. That clearly says that we have got poor management of water, and because of that, you can see that how large amount of money is being spent for the expenditure, for the maintenance, for the creation of new anthropogenic activities pertaining to facilities. And not only that, it also affects your human population. So on the other hand, large states in the states of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Andhra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu face recurring droughts. As much as 85% of the drought prone area falls in this state. So you can see that the major populated states of India are having drought like condition. And when it comes to your this areas like we are talking about Assam, Bihar, West Bengal and Uttar Pradesh, they are getting excessive water. So what this concept is, convert this water to those areas which are facing the drought prone areas. So what are the probable benefits of this interlinking? Always you will be finding some positive, always you'll be finding some negatives. So I'll start always with a positive end. That is first, positive from interlinking of rivers or irrigation. What does it means? It means by linking of rivers, vast amount of land areas which does not have any irrigation facility prior to this river interlinkage, and it's not suitable for agriculture because of water scarcity, can be brought under cultivation, can be brought under plantation, because of this flow of water or redirection of water, and the entire productive land can be made fertile. That is one of the important positives of river interlinkage. The second positives are flood prevention. So by what it will do, it will, by interlinking of rivers, we can stop flood to be happening in particular area, By creating networks of river flood and drought problem can regularly avoided by channeling excess water to the areas that are not experiencing a flood or are dry seas. So this water is similar to canal system in Netherlands to channel excess water from the sea. So there are various examples throughout the world where they have used this technology to get that area vegetated or under plantation cover which was priorly unvegetated, unproductive, and because of this the disasters like drought and flood reduced in that area, and the money that was used to be spent for the damaging or for the recreation or for the reclamations measures were used for the development. So you can think that here how this can improve the socio-economic condition of the people who are living in that area, as well as generation of electricity. When you're creating this with the new canal build, feasibility of new dams to generate hydroelectrical power becomes a possibility. So if you're constructing a canal from a river, you can see a lot of new hydropowers in Uttarakhand, in Himachal, in Jammu Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Assam, Arunachal. So you can see a lot of canal system being generated in the low-lying areas, and the hydroelectricity is also created. It is also used for networks of canals can open for routes, and the waterway can be used for water navigation and is generally more efficient and cheaper compared to the road transport. Not only that, will also reduce the pollution in an area because of this facility. Then this will lead to, because there is less of flood and drought in that area and more productivity has increased in that area. So by interlinking the rivers there will be boost and increased employment, especially in the agricultural sector, in the power sector, in the transportation sector, in the construction sector, and the interlinking can increase the GDP by 5 to 6%. So you can see that how this interlinking of rivers can create a revolution in the entire community. Also, it can create new business opportunities that is expected to generate large scale business opportunity in the field of mechanical equipments, because for hydropowers if you are going for your transportation you're needing, so that requires mechanical equipments. Then you need earth movers, crushers, power shovels, and other transportation vehicles. In addition, this project will also be required for large-scale manufacturing of construction materials, such as estimated to be 56 million tons of cement and 2 million tons of steel. So you can see that how large number of population will be affected and will gain employment. The manufacturing industry will get demands for new products, for new vehicles, for new machineries. So that will create a new business opportunities. Also, the people will get good drinking water. Majority of our population will get drinking water. Special emphasis is that all cities connected by golden quadrilateral project will get clean drinking water. So that is one of the most important thing that you will do to the society is provide water to the needy. And this interlinking of the river channels provides each and every house with the clean and safe drinking water capacity and capability that Honorable Vice Chancellor has already stated. Then revenue, because at last when your entire thing has increased, you are more confident. So what it will do? It will increase the revenue. The revenue means the government is expecting revenues from the benefits of navigating through waters, increased tourism, joint ventures, private initiatives, and many more. So that will increase the socio-economical condition in that area. Now, various national river linking projects in India that are already going, that is NRLP, that is National River Linking Project, is designed to ease water shortage in the western and the southern part that we have already studied, how the water scarcity is there, while mitigating the impacts of recurrent floodings in the eastern parts of the Gangetic blend. That today and day after yesterday, day before yesterday, there was lot of news being shown related to Bihar, UP, Assam, West Bengal. So those water of the eastern area will be used to mitigate the scarcity of the rainfall that we are facing in the southern area and the western area. So the NRLP, if and when implemented, will be one of the biggest inter-basin water transport projects in the world, not only in India. So what we have started the making of contour of each and every rivers, building 30 links, 3,000 small and large reservoir, one 12,500 kilometers of canals to link 36 Himalayan and peninsular rivers to affect 178 kilometers of interbasin water transport. So you can see how this has been redirected, reconnected, the river interlinkage. The plan has already been developed, and soon we'll see some results on the ground. That is 35 million hectares of new irrigated area. So that is a new agriculture area that will be vegetated. 35 gigawatts of hydro capacity, navigation and flood control benefits. Then gas station parade will be proposed 2060, more likely to be completed by 2050. The cost is very large amount, that is 56 uh, 560,000 crores at 2002 prices, that is US 120 billion, that is 1 to 15% of Indian GDP for the next 3 decades. So, what is the goal and purpose? The goal is to support the South Asian quest for food, livelihoods, and water security. So, if you are going to interlink the river, you will have two kinds of security. One, you will be having water security, that you will have sufficient amount of water. Secondly, if you have got sufficient amount of water, you will have sufficient amount of food. Then capitalize on the uncommon opportunity created by national river linking projects. Then purpose is promote a balanced, analytical, and informed national discourse on Indian water future 2050. So what the purpose is that each and every population by 2050 get a proper amount of food, proper amount of water, and using these projects, it can be achieved. An approach to shaping it, including through the river interlinking projects. So, what are the different kinds of phases that we have already completed or we have done? That is, phase one is of 9 months. The activities was on different national workshop. Then what are the different kinds of planning challenges that will be doing, that is into the phase one. Phase two of 15 months, that is synthesis national workshop again on different areas. Then how adequate, complete, and cost effective river linking project of India Violent Challenge 2050, how to maximize need social benefits of the river linkage project. So all this awareness programs, the questionnaire, the failures, the negatives, the positives will have from different sectors, from whether that is from the civil society, whether that is from the administrative society, whether that is from the scientific society, that is from the each and every person will made a part of this project, so as to improve the living condition of those areas, like planning of food, livelihood, and water security by 2050. So, what are the present status of interlinking of river projects? So, the government has said that the National Water Development Agency and WDA under Ministry of Water Resources has identified 30 interstate river linkages, 6 under peninsular component and 14 under Himalayan component for the preparation of feasibility report. So the government has already started, and maybe in coming days or years you will be seeing the entire work that has been already assessed in the form of feasibility reports. All the plans suggested will be implemented by Honorable Prime Minister and Government of India. Out of this feasibility report, 14 links under the peninsular component and 2 links Indian portion under Himalayan component has been completed. So you can see that large number of feasibility reports has already been completed and submitted to the Government of India. Maybe in coming few months you will be seeing some developments in this area. So you can see that the interlinking consists of two parts, that is northern western river development component and southern peninsular river development component. So you have got into two parts, one into the north, other one into the south. So the proposed interlinking water river transport links for the Himalayan component says Ghagra Yamuna, Sarda Yamuna. Rest is Kashi Ghagra, Gandak Ganga, then Yamuna Rajasthan, Rajasthan Sabarmati, then Son in tributaries and Ganga, Ganga Damodar Sonreka, Sonreka Mahanadi, Kosi, then Faruka Sundarban. So all these are those areas that are proposed. Is one is on the fourth and the fifth number, and this all are on the peninsular component. So you can see that how the different river system, the red color are those river system that the government of India has identified. The feasibility report have been submitted, and in coming days and coming year you will be seeing a new rivers interlinked through canals, and you will see those the areas where which were facing the water problem will be reduced. So the Himalayan Development National Commission about IRL 1 says that the northern component would consist of series of dams built along the Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers in India, Nepal and Bhutan for the purpose of storage. So the biggest challenge is ki the Bhutan, Nepal doesn't store that water during the monsoon period, and they release it. When they are releasing it, obviously we are on the low lying areas, the Bihar, UP, West Bengal, Assam. So we are facing the flood like situation. So we'll be providing the sites where we'll be coming up with more number of dams. Canals will be built to transfer surplus water from the eastern tributaries of the Ganga to the west. So whatever water what we are getting during the monsoon, like in Bihar, the entire, if you go to Champaran, Muzaffarpur, Baranga, Samastipur, Supol, Araria, Madhepura, all the states, if you go for the northern part, all are flood affected. So right now also we are having a large amount of flood. Yesterday only there was a lot of television channels showing how the flood has affected a large number of population again. So if you are constructing dams and you're rediverting, such situation won't happen in those parts of the country. The Brahmaputra and its tributaries will be linked to Ganga, and Ganga with the Mahanadi river system. This part of the project will provide additional irrigation for about 2 to 0,000 square kilometers and generate about 30 gigawatts of electricity. It could also provide excessive water for the controversial Farukha barrage, which is used to flush out the silt at the port of Kolkata. So you can see this is those portion. Previously it was not clear, maybe in that you were seeing. So you've got Kosi Mechi, Kosi Ghagra, Gandak. And then you have got Ghagra Yamuna, Sarda Yamuna, Yamuna Rajasthan, Chunar Son Barrage, Son Dam, southern tributaries of Ganga, Manas Sankush, Tista Ganga, then Jogiapa, Tista, Farakha Sundarban, Ganga Damodar, Sonreka. So you can see this all a new proposed area how they will be connected, and in coming years, and you'll be seeing this all water being diverted from various parts of the river system. So, National Commission about IRL2, first, the Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri rivers would also be linked by canals. Extra water storage dams would be built along the course of these rivers. The purpose of this would be transfer surplus water from the Mahanadi and Godavari rivers to the south of India. Second, those rivers that flow west to the north of Mumbai and south of Tapi will be linked. The water will be used by urban areas of Mumbai and also will provide irrigation to the coastal areas of Maharashtra. So you can see this is a very beautiful project that the Honorable Prime Minister has given us the mission and vision, where the government is regularly working on for creation of this new canals, dams, and reservoirs. Third, the Ken and Chambal rivers will be linked in order to provide better water supplies for Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Finally, a number of west flowing rivers along the western Ghats simply discharge into the Arabian Sea. The peninsular part of the project will provide additional irrigation of 130,000 square kilometers and generation of additional 4 gigawatts of power. So you can see these are the few projects, and the feasibility project has been already submitted, like Mahanadi, Godavari Krishna, Krishna Penar at different places. Then Kaveri, Vagai, Gundar, Ken, Betwa, Parvati, Chambal, Par, Tapi, Narmada. So you can see that this red color has been highlighted, and these are the areas that will be connected in coming years. So the history of river interlinkage, it's not a new project. So we started with 1972 Ganga Kaveri Link project by Dr. K.L. Rao, 1974 Garland Connect proposed by Captain Duster, 1980 Ministry of Water Resource from National Prospective Plan, 1982 the National Water Development Agency, 1999 a National Commission of Integrated Water Resources. Then August 15, 2000, President Abdul Kalam mentioned that the need of river linkage in Independence Day speech. On October 2002, Supreme Court recommends that the government formulate a plan to link the major Indian rivers by 2012. December 2002, government appoints a task force for the interlinking of 37 rivers led by Mr. Suresh Prabhu. The deadline was revised to 2016, and the issues and the costs that are important to be discussed for any kind of river interlinkage projects is ecological issues, like major concern being the argument that the river change their course by 70 and 100 years, and once they are linked, future change of course can create huge practical problems for the project. Because you have already seen, and we have seen various kinds of projects, we have done various kinds of laboratory exercises on the river migration. So what it's stating that if you are going to create, you're presuming that the river will flow in the same direction, but maybe over the period of time it has changed the course. So if that has increased the course, so as your new plans or the new projects will also, there will be a change in the design, there will be change in the course, and that can create a huge problem in the low lying areas. Then the second problem is aqua life. A number of leading environmentalists are of the opinion that the project can be an ecological disaster. So there could be a decrease in the downstream flow, resulting in the decrease of the fresh water inflow into the sea, seriously jeopardizing the aquatic life. So if you are not providing the adequate amount of rainfall, if you are storing it, if you are protecting it, if you are recharging it, So maybe many amount of water won't be going to the sea, and if it is not going to the sea, your entire climate ecosystem can change, and that will severely affect the marine ecosystem, the marine services. Also, there will be deforestation because creation of canals will need a large area of land, and resulting this, if you are going for creation of new canals, you have to acquire the land, and there can be many times of forested areas in between those construction, and that can pertain to a clearing of those forested land. Then areas getting submerged. Possibility of new dams comes with the threat that habitable or reserved lands getting submerged underwater. So what the other problem is, many times you can see that out of 100 projects of this reservoirs or the dam, 90% will be under litigation, and some court hearings are continuing in India because of this litigation, and the policies are still unclear, and that has created a mess in the entire region. Then displacement of the people, as the large strips of the land might have to be converted into the canals. A considerable population living in the areas needs to be rehabilitated. So again, when it comes to the rehabilitation policy, maybe your entire agriculture area will be taken from the government, and you may or may not get the exact amount, or you can ask for more amount. The government rent can be something else. The same issue what you're feeling for you're seeing in the case of Ayodhya recently, there is a lot of confusion, and that was related to the rehabilitation or land acquisition. So always, whenever you're going for land acquisition or displacement, always there is a issue in India, because many times there is a, what I can say, transparency issue is there. All are not transparent, either the officers, either the, many times the policies, many times the implementation thought process that have given before framing that rules. And finally, many times it's from the people, and also they ask for a large amount of compensation instead of what it has been stated by government of India. So, what are the alternatives to inter-river linkage system? You can say that instead of going that, we should, and instead of changing the entire river ecosystem, and there is not only the positive, there the demerits also attached to those in the river interlinkage system. Instead of that, we can go for rainwater harvesting and conservation of water resources, like changes in topography, soil system, and run flow pattern in changing climatic environment is considered. And not only stored run water, but soil erosion can also be prohibited. Then recharging groundwater reservoir skills has to be developed for storing this rainwater that we are getting during the monsoon periods, and then we can store and we can use this groundwater for groundwater recharge. Then large scale utilization of groundwater in deltas, particularly feasible and initiative for borewell development and irrigation needed with responsibility line. Community participation approaches of reducing water consumption by the affluent in the city and reducing the wastage of water by the farmers in the field can be attempted. And finally, we can conclude that considering the pragmatic view of all the issues raised, it can be concluded that implementation of this ambition skills is very tough, but it cannot be denied. Hence, it can be a better option to concentrate on local resources, and we can come with a challenge with that. So it's a perception, like instead you can go for water recharge, or whether you want to go for river interlinkage. That all depends on your perception ki what you want, whether you want at a local level. Best is the combination of both. For me, if you go as a hydrologist, hydrogeologist, or a remote sensing personnel, my suggestion would be on my personal land, that is interlinkage is as equally important as the local resources, because not only if you're not doing, then 50% only you can achieve, but if you're doing both the methods, you'll reach 100% you'll achieve. Okay, with this I'll end my today's presentation. We'll have 3 to 5 minutes of group discussion, thereafter your quiz in LMS. Okay then, great day ahead.